Hello, YouTube. We're back with another analysis on some modern gameplay. So, where I dive deeper into why I play the cards in the way I do. So, it's basically a way for me to kind of discuss on a deeper level some of my thought processes going in some of these matchups that I can't necessarily go into detail when I'm playing a live game. So, anyway, and we'll get right into it. So we go here, we see a one-lander. We don't know, unknown opponent. We can't keep this, obviously. This is just bad. We throw it back. We have 3 lands. We get Cryptic. We are playing I believe we're playing more of a control list, I think. I'll see. Maybe this is, I think it's Zagro. So we're playing Burn, Goblin Guide. So we see a Bitter Blossom here, which is not what we want to see. We always want to see Bitter Blossom, but not against Burn. So it'll kill you faster than anything else. So we don't shock ourselves. He plays Swift Spear. Just normal Burn stuff. He then suspends a Rift Bolt. We play Dark Slick. So we play Bitter Blossom, and we don't want to, but we're going to. So I could have also... we have a choice here. I can either hold up everything and try to counter a 1-mana spell that he doesn't kill my Spellstutter Sprite with, or I can throw in the Duelist in front of one of these creatures, mainly the Goblin Guide. So we have a choice here. I choose to play the Blossom and see where things go. Sometimes it'll work out, sometimes it doesn't. I could have also just been okay with him attacking and then made him sack a creature and not taking the damage and maybe played this later. So there's really 3 lines there. And I just chose the Bitter Blossom to test my thought. Just test it out. So then he Rift Bolts. He gets the Prowess. So, Rolling Vortex, this isn't good. But obviously, this is main decked because of Scam, mostly. Scam and Rhinos. So, we draw land off of Goblin Guide. So, and this is the problem is, he's done so much damage to us so fast that playing this Blossom is really a mistake at this point. To where I could have, assuming he doesn't have a Lightning Bolt or something in his hand, I could have thrown this Duelist in front of here. I could have saved some damage for myself, but we're basically just conceding victory, conceding this game 1, period. So we then opt, Searing Blaze will finish us off. This is the scorn of our existence. We hate this card. It's a very good Magic card, but we hate it. So, and we try to battle back. We chump, and then he Boros Burns us, which makes our Bitter Blossom lethal to us the next turn. So then we just concede. This happens on game 1s a lot. We drop game 1s to Burn a lot. You shouldn't. Yes, you should play to win it. And if you win it, you're probably going to win the match, more than likely, because post sideboard, game 2, game 3 is much better for us. And we'll go to game 2. Alrighty. Got 3 land. Really don't like the Cryptic here. Took some number out, I know that. So, but we're going to go with it. So, he drops a Goblin Guide. We're okay with Goblin Guide. You always let the trigger go off. Like, say I wanted to remove it, you let him attack, the trigger go off, and then kill it. You typically do that, so you get the possible land draw here. So we'll do that, and then we Dark Slick. So we have things here we can do. I can kill it. So we take that. I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to add creatures to the board, because if he plays another like Swift Spear or something, we get in the same kind of this weird debacle to where I could have made him sack this, and then he goes Goblin Guide, and then Swift Spear or double Goblin Guide out of the gate. By waiting to the end of turn, yes, I take 2 more damage, but I can consistently make him not add to the board, because Burn notoriously, they want to go to the face, but they want to finish you by going to the dome with like lightning bolts and things like that. What they don't want to do is they don't want to play this mid game very long, where the creatures can finish you off, because the creatures typically don't kill you. It's the bolts to the face and things like that. So you have to. So as long as you can like keep them at a certain regiment and tempo them out, you'll be good. This is one way to tempo them out, by just making sure that they have to play everything through counterspell. So then we make them do that. We untap. We play island. We then pass. So we're just kind of waiting. So we could play the Borrower here, but we know he's playing Searing Blaze, like main board Searing Blaze. And so we had other things come out of the deck. And then Brazen Borrower is just a card that is just absolutely awful against him. Okay, the bounce effect is actually better than the body itself, because this thing dies so easily. It's basically very, very mana inefficient going forward. So we got a lot of land, so we'll be good here. And then we get our star card of the matchup, March of the Wretched Sorrow, to gain life. So if we gain 4 or 5 life, we just automatically win the matchup, most likely. It's not much that you have to gain. So, and then we're just playing a boring draw go here. We're trying to get as much mana going up there, and so we can win. You know, we can counter everything he's doing. So we then Sprite, knowing he's probably going to try to bolt it. Okay. And then we Cryptic that. I chose to draw there. I also could have bounced the Spell Search right back to my hand if I wanted to. He then rolling Vortexes, which doesn't really hurt us because we're not playing too much. I am playing Force Negation in this matchup, which does this, but I just can't pitch to it. So it's still a quality card. Also, this gets around everything. It's to bounce. It's basically a free bounce. Okay, now he goes ham. He goes double rolling Vortex, which we're used to playing with effects like this, so having 1 down isn't really bad, and the fact that he's dealing damage to both of us. So, but the big thing about these cards is for 1 red, I can't gain. He can make me not be able to gain life through the March of Wretched Sorrow. So we're just going to stop kind of a lot of his stuff going forward. We're going to Cryptic bounce, and we're going to counterbalance that. We then draw into Force of Negation, and then we obviously have now a board state. And Rolling Vortex is kind of going out. Critics, just 3 to us. We just let it happen. There's certain spells in this matchup that you're going to get hit in the face with burn spells. The question is what burn spells do you take, and what burn spells do you choose the counter and not take. When he gets down to like 2 or 3 cards, you have to just choose the one you want to take, and then hope everything else works. Past that, because there is a level of this burn matchup that is strictly probability, in the fact that he's either going to draw a massive amount of gas or he's going to draw a bunch of lands. In this case, he has drawn a bunch of lands, so we can, and that's why we have all these answers into our hand. So because we haven't had to play aggressively yet. So he Monastery, and this is what I'm talking about. The his creatures don't do anything late. He's going to finish this off by going to the face with bolts and things like that. This Monastery Swiftspear doesn't do a whole lot, and really like stopping him and making him do the second main is really bad for him. He doesn't want to do this. So I choose, because I have plenty of backup here, and at this point, because I have a board state, I don't care if he kills this Brazen Borrower. He also has 1 card in hand. And he also has 2 mana of which to do it. So if he does play something for 2, then he can't stop me from gaining life. So this March of Retrosaro will be good next turn. And I can just gain like 7 life off this. Or pitch a black card. So basically, I'm keeping all my options open. He doesn't have anything, it looks like, so I go ahead and play the Mastermind, and we just go ham. So we draw a very, very nice Fatal Push there, so I don't have to use the Wretched Sorrow. We're using this as a kind of a last resort. We're not in threat of being dead, so he would have to have two Boros charms, basically, because of the Rolling Vortex damage, for us to be worried. So here we go. We attack for 3, 4, 5, 8. So we don't care about that, and we're okay with that. We're okay with the dead draws. So we drew well there, and we were able to play around some things. So keeping us around 9 means that he has to have basically 3 spells to kill us. He has 1 in hand, and then obviously this, and then we're taking 1 damage passively from the Rolling Vortex. If you can keep them, it's really a big numbers game. It's card to how much you have to know the burn deck inside and out, and how many cards can he use to effectively basically do 9 damage to us, and what is his outs. Burn isn't really that deep of a deck, obviously, so knowing what they're going to do. Now they might have Deflecting Palm, which you really have to watch out for. Deflecting Palm can really throw off the math. But as soon as you see it once, you'll never, you won't get caught out by it from that opponent again, or if but not a lot of people play it, and you just got to know what they're gonna do. When you start getting down to 5 life, that's when you start getting into seriously, it's bad, and you can die in 2 turns off 2 cards. So you have to look at it that way. So we'll go to a game 3. Oh, no. So game 3, burn. So, Force Negation plus Cryptic to pitch. We're actually okay with Cryptic in our hand as long as we can pitch to this. And then we have 2 lands, and we can 2 removal spells and a counter spell. We're actually quite happy here. So he goes first. He then Goblin Guides. We then see a Spell Search right on top. Alright. So Dark Slick, he then Goblin Guides again. He then Goblin Guides again. It's really important here when you have multiple stacking Goblin Guide triggers is how you want to play this, and you have to effectively, because he just basically threw down his hand on the board, so we know we can get rid of a lot of this damage coming through, and he's going to have to draw gas to get us there. So whatever's in his hand is probably not a creature. We don't know, obviously, but it's more than likely a burn spell or a land. So we're going to take this. But like I was saying, like as we get more and more Goblin Guide triggers, and we see this, if we have any way to manipulate the top of our deck, say the first trigger comes up and it's a land, puts in our hand. Well, then before the second one, we let it go off, or we can try to get a land on top of our deck. You know, if we see something there, put it on the bottom. You know, so we get a fresh card on top. You know, you can manipulate your top of your library. If I had a fetch land here, I could look at the top one, and then the second one comes through. I fetch, and then get that fresh look, and maybe I'll get that other land. The more land we can get in our hand, the better. As long as we're not discarding, because when you get like this and you like go land, and it's early, then sometimes you can do that and you'll end up having to discard. But even here, I don't mind discarding the Cryptic right now. I don't. We're going to stabilize this board in 2 turns. So just another way to look at it. This isn't the scenario where we have a fetch land, but if you did, you'd want to continually manipulate the top of your deck so you can be advantageous to get those lands and get the lands outside of your deck. So what's up, Despawn? And so we play here, we wait. We know we're going to take some damage. So this Rolling Vortex, because he's so ahead on board, because he just threw down his hand, this is the problem. This is a big problem. So basically we throw the Cryptic away like we thought we would. We let him get all these triggers, and then we Shield Road's Edict. And then we get a land, and then we get another. We see... So we only get the one, and we have a Brazen Borrower that comes through. So we can bounce one of these creatures if we want to next turn, but we're not. So we then land, we then pass. See, so we really make these Goblin triggers to the to our benefit as much as we can, because we're down. You know, we obviously can't take the damage here either, so we get rid of that. We get the land. We get double lands here, so which is good because it makes our deck way more efficient. We get it on 6. Now, if he had double bolt, he just wins here, and we just have to, accept it. So he would have it, but obviously, more than likely, he doesn't have those things. So because that would just be unreal. So we play our land. We want 4 mana. 1, I want to be able to counterspell and sprite something. I want to kill something and counterspell something. So we just want a lot of different things. The more things we can do, the more spells we can play per turn, the better. We're going to be mana efficient here, even though by mana efficient meaning, I could have also Edict there and been fine. So we're just going to do this. So the EE on 1, just make sure he doesn't get like 2 creatures, and then, it makes him have to like throttle himself or get blown out. Alright, and then we got some other things, but we still, he knows we're full of fistful of counter magic. So, and then we have this. So he's going to have to play around us for a little bit. He drops a land. He can't just throw things to our face, because him one for oneing things for right now is not good. We then, this is the play that we're baiting him here. You know, and the question is do I bait here, or do I bait in a turn, or 2 turns? Like, when do I bait? For me, this was good enough time to do it. Even if it's not about losing the borrower or keeping the borrower. It's about getting him to cast a spell towards a creature and not my face. That's what we're going for here. I don't necessarily care about this creature per se. Okay, I do. I'd like it, and I'm gonna fight like I care about it. But if this thing would die to a bolt, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. So he's Searing Blazes, which we want to see, because eventually we're going to have another creature, and we don't want that to come out here with nothing in our hand. Because eventually what we're going to do is we're going to get to a point where we're both top decking, and if I top deck this creature and I play that creature and he top sticks this, like, this is just three damage to the face, basically, as long as the land came in, you know, his landfall happened. So we counterspell. He then, okay, we accepted that beforehand, so we're going to get rid of this. He then threw the big spell at our face, so we know really where we're at here, you know, in terms of life, of everything. But we do have a 3/3. We actually have 6 power on board. We can kill him in 3 turns. So, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna play to our outs here. We're gonna speed this game that he has to kill us with a 2-mana spell this turn, or nothing. Or have 2 1-mana spells, but he has to have 2 burn spells in hand to kill us. He cannot have a creature. Has to have a burn spell. So you have to. So he's desperation mode because he's drawing here. Him going past his attack step here was bad. If he would happen to get a creature, even though we can handle it in multiple ways. We're also, if he throws down a Swift Spear, that is problematic, because if he's going to pump the Swift Spear, make it bigger, plus go to the face or kill the Brazen Borrower or whatever. But also we'd have to pop this, and then I have nothing else that if he went to the face. There's a plethora of ways we lose this game. Plethora, and obviously he is searching for something. You know, so he draws. He then skull cracks to, you know, try to get us. We then sprite the skull crack. So we add a damage here. So, and so we get him to 1. He then draws. He must have drawn dead, and we win the game. So a lot of things happened that game. He had a lot of things going right for him from the start. His hand was explosive. He had triple Goblin Guide. But if you manipulate the top of your deck effectively and efficiently enough, you can use those Goblin Guide triggers to your maximum advantage and be able to stall out these games the 1 turn that he then draws dead, and then you make the kill within 2 or 3 turns. So, and we did this all about, you know, this is the next card he draws is probably a 80% burn spell, you know, more than likely, because he's missed that many draws to be it, and he just got one, so it might not be 80%, but it's probably pretty high. So, anyway, thanks for stopping by. This has been an analysis of Burn, Modern Burn versus the Faerie matchup. So, Hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know in the comments what you thought. Thank you.